Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dapper Diary. Today I have a slightly different video for you. Instead of doing the typical reviews that I do, I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how to clean and condition your casual boots, as it is essential for maintaining the longevity of your footwear. Stay tuned. Now, if you're looking at these sexy boots and thinking, why haven't I seen them before? I just got them. You're gonna get a review on these very soon as I break them in, and I can give you a very good, comprehensive review of these amazing pieces of footwear right here. But today, let's stick with what we're here for, and that is how to clean and condition these boots. Now, keep in mind that the way you treat casual boots and more formal dressy footwear is gonna be very different. Today is gonna be casual footwear, so I'm going to show you some of the things that I have prepared. So first, you're going to have some saddle soap, which is basically, as the name implies, soap for your leathers. You're going to need a Dapper brush, which is the one over here. A nice horsehair circular brush, as your Dapper brush is going to be very good for applying the saddle soap. Afterwards, you're going to want a good quality leather conditioner, a waterproof leather conditioner, such as mink oil. And then lastly, in order to buff your boots, you're going to want to have a nice horsehair brush. So before I show you how to clean and condition your boots, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why this process is very important in maintaining your boots. So if you think about it, leather is essentially skin. It's skin from a dead animal. Whereas your body can produce oils that will keep your skin soft and moist, leather does not have the ability to produce oils on its own. So you have to use whatever conditioner you use to reintroduce the moisture and the oils back into the leather so that the leather stays soft, moist, and conditioned, because if you do not condition your leather, it will start to dry up, and dry leather cracks a lot easier, and cracks is not repairable. Alright, now let's get started. The first step is to clean these boots. Make sure there's no dirt or any mud on them. So you're going to take your saddle soap, you're going to open it up. The saddle soap is going to be yellow, mine is yellow. Phoebe's saddle soap, the company Phoebe's, is a very good saddle soap brand. They also have saddle soap that comes in white. So you're going to take your Dapper brush, this circular horsehair brush over here. You're going to take a little glass of water, some water. You're going to pour just a little bit of water into the lid, and then with some water in your lid, you're going to take your Dapper brush, you're going to dab the horsehair into the water to get it a little bit wet, and then you're going to take your brush, you're going to put it in circular motions around the saddle soap, and then until you get a nice little coat of saddle soap onto the brush, you're going to take the brush, put it back onto the lid, and then put it around, spin it around until it starts to break apart and you start to get a little bit of a lather developing. So what you want to do is take your Dapper brush full of the saddle soap, and then you're just going to rub it around the boots and create this nice thick lather over here. This lather is going to take out all of the dirt, all of the oils as well from the leather, which is why we have the conditioning process later. So just rub it around the entirety of the boot, creating this nice thick lather. And then remember to not neglect the welt of the boot, as a lot of dirt and mud can build up over there without you noticing. And the dirt and the mud is really going to wear away and eat away at the leather. So you want to make sure the welt is nice and clean as well. Okay, now that you have the lather spread across and scrubbed along the majority of the boot where you actually need it to be clean, now you want to take some paper towels, or preferably if you have some cloth or something, use that, and then you're just going to simply wipe down your boot. So now that your boot is pretty much all clean, you're going to take your horsehair brush and you're just going to start buffing your boot just to get any of the remainder of the saddle soap out of the small crevices that your finger and your paper towel cannot get to. And then you can just set that aside to let the boot dry. Alright, now that your boot is nice and clean, it's time to condition and waterproof your boot. So with more casual boots like this, I would suggest using some sort of a mink oil or a beeswax-based leather preservative, as it will have the waterproofing abilities that you are looking for in casual boots. With more formal and dressy shoes, that will be a different story. So what I have here is some Phoebe's mink oil paste. Mink oil is pretty good. However, my favorite leather conditioner is Obanoff's leather heavy-duty leather preservative. That stuff is super nice. Don't mind that. That stuff is very nice, very good at waterproofing, but I do not have that with me at the moment. So in order to waterproof your boot, you're going to take your hand, or if you would rather, you can use some sort of a rag and apply the mink oil onto your boot. You might want to use a rag because mink oil doesn't smell very nice and leaves your finger feeling pretty waxy. Now the very important parts you want to keep in mind is going to be the vamp of the shoe, where you get most of the wear, where you bend your toe, bend your foot, And just like with the saddle soap, it's important not to neglect the welt of the boot, as if anything, that is going to be where the majority of the water seeps through. So you want to get a nice thick coat along the welt as well. Alright, now that you've covered the entirety of the boot, it's going to be a bit greasy to the touch, so you just want to leave it to the side so that the leather can absorb all of the oils and waxes that you have provided it. Now lastly, to finish this up, you just want to take your horsehair brush and then give it a nice little buffing along the entirety of the boot, just to get any of the remaining residual mink oil off of the boot so that mud and dirt doesn't collect easily on the surface of the leather. So how often should you clean and condition your boots? Well, for something like a saddle soap, I would only recommend using something like this if you have a lot of dirt and then a lot of mud that you have collected on your boots, because saddle soap is not very nice to the leather. It will take all of the oils from the leather and then bring it out. So I would say reserve saddle soap for when you're really trying to deep clean it, or if you are really trying to give it a very high shine, but that's for another video. As for conditioning, it really depends on what type of a climate you live in. If you live in a very dry area and it gets super hot and you wear your boots all the time, I would say try to clean and condition it every 1 or 2 months. However, if you do not live in a climate that is super hot or super dry, and you only wear your shoes 1 or 2 times a week, then I would say you can condition your boots just once or twice a year. And that's going to be it for today's video. Quite short, but it's a very important part of having a nice footwear collection. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will be sure to get to you as soon as I can. And that's going to be it for today. I'll see you guys next time. Stay dapper.